So, what if you had to build entire worlds from just a few scattered lines of text? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to take these little poetic fragments that describe three totally different worlds and piece them together. See what they might tell us about life, about ambition, and maybe even about our own future.
Okay, let's dive right in with our very first clue. Wow. This one line, it sets a heck of a stage, doesn't it? It wasn't an asteroid or some supervirus. It was ambition that brought a whole civilization to its knees. That's the mystery we're going to start unraveling.
So our first stop is maybe the most alien of all three. I mean, forget about things like rocky surfaces or atmospheres you can breathe. We're heading somewhere built from the fabric of sound and light itself.
Our first world gets introduced with this incredible phrase, the planet of sunluminescence. Right away, that tells you this is a place where light isn't just something you get from a star. No, it's actually born from the world. It's a pretty mind-bending idea for sure. But what even is sunluminescence?
What's so cool about this is that it isn't just made-up science fiction. Sonoluminescence is a real thing. Seriously, when sound waves go through a liquid, they can make these tiny bubbles form and then just violently collapse. And that collapse creates a crazy amount of energy in a tiny little space. And bam, it lets out a burst of light.
And this, right here, is where our source material takes that little nugget of science and just leaps into pure imagination. It talks about inhabitants who live light within. I mean, just think about that for a second. These aren't beings that see light or even use light. They are light, born from this constant sound-driven creation.
So what would it even feel like to be one of these creatures? Well, the description we get is that their whole existence is like a lucid dream. That suggests, a state of being that's totally fluid, totally aware, maybe without any of the solid physical limits we have. It's a life lived as a conscious pattern of light and energy.
Wow.
And that just brings us to the sheer poetry of it all. An entire existence from birth to whatever's next, all happening in these brilliant, fleeting flashes of light. It really makes you ask some profound questions about what life even is, completely separate from any biology that we understand.
All right, let's travel to our next destination, which, let me tell you, tells a totally different kind of story. See, here, we don't just have one world. We've got two. Two dusty red planets that are kind of like cosmic mirror images of each other, reflecting two very, very different paths a civilization can take. This is the big question that connects these next two worlds. They're both dusty, they're both red, and they're both totally shaped by how they deal with their own past. But how they handle that past, well, that leads to two dramatically different endings.
And you can see that split so clearly right here. On one side, you've got a world of ruin. History is a buried secret, ambition leads to total collapse, and rebellion, well, that just gets you turned into dust. But on the other side, you've got a world of harmony. It's protected from its past, it's thriving in symbiosis, and it's building this prosperous future. Let's take a closer look at each one.
So, this is the cautionary tale. The first red planet is where that quote from the very beginning comes from, a civilization collapsed by its own ambition. Its history is buried, yeah, but it seems like it's turned into this mysterious, evolving intelligence. And the warning couldn't be more clear. If you challenge this new order, you become nothing more than the dust on the planet. Now contrast that with the second red planet. It's a total flip. Here, civilization doesn't bury its past, it's actually protected from history's past under these giant silk domes. Life isn't some struggle against a crushing power. Instead, it's a symbiotic harmony where the people, the residents, they evolve towards a really prosperous future. Same planet, completely different philosophy.
Okay, so let's pull back from these different worlds for a minute. We've seen life as this dream of light, a history buried in dust, and a future protected under domes. What are the big ideas that connect all these powerful little glimpses?
Each of these peeks into another world really explores a massive theme, right? The planet of light, that forces us to question what life even means. The planet of ruin is this huge warning sign about what happens when ambition goes unchecked. And the planet of harmony, well, that offers a vision of hope. It suggests that real prosperity comes from balance and working together, not from conflict.
And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. When we look at these three worlds, one of pure existence, one of ambition's ruin, and one of symbiotic harmony, are we just playing around with some cool fictional ideas? Or are we actually looking at reflections of our own potential paths? Whether these are meant to be a warning about our future, or maybe a prophecy of what's possible, well, that's for us to decide. Thanks for joining me on this little exploration.